Hello student. Now we are going to continue with our chapter, our environment. Okay. In the previous chapter we have discussed about the energy flow in trophic level, which indicates that green plants which indicates that green plants, that is producer, absorb about 1% of solar energy. That is, whatever the sunlight reaches to the earth, out of that only 1% is absorbed by a green plant and falling on their leaves and store it as a food energy. What they do with that 1%, they use this 1% of energy in the process of photosynthesis, by which they produces food energy. This food energy is being utilized by themselves also and stored as a food material. This food material is being eaten up by herbivorous animals. Remember one thing, herbivorous animal. Herbivorous animal. And who are the herbivorous animals are? Herbivorous animals are cow or deer or goat. These are the herbivorous animals. So during the transfer of food energy from one trophic level to the next, 90% of energy is lost to the environment, only 10% is being transferred to the next trophic level. That is, when these plants are being eaten by a herbivorous animal like cow, deer or goat, the total energy which are present in this plant, only 10% is being transferred to the cow, deer or goat, while the rest 90% is being lost in the environment. Okay. So there is a decrease in the amount of food energy transferred in every trophic level by 10%. That means, let's suppose a grass containing 1,000 calorie energy. This grass is eaten by a cow. Now cow is now what how much energy is being transferred? Only 10%. That means cow get only 100 calorie of energy. Now this cow is being eaten by a tiger, and this tiger is eating the cow. Now the tiger get only 10 calorie of energy. That is a continuous decrease in the energy from one trophic level to another. So this decrease give rise to a energy flow. Let's discuss with the diagram. The basics is that the producers are those who produces food like plant are the first trophic level. These are the plant, and this plant is being eaten by a primary consumer. These are the second trophic level. This is the first trophic level and this is the second trophic level. And who are the primary consumers? They are mostly a herbivorous, that is a vegetarian totally. And these primary consumers are being eaten up by a secondary consumers. Secondary consumers are those, this is the third trophic level, third trophic level. So who are they? They are mostly a tiger, or we can say carnivorous. Herbivorous may be cow, goat, deer, etc. Carnivorous may be human being or tiger or giraffe, or we can, sorry, giraffe is a herbivorous, lion. These are so there is a continuous, the high level of energy is always present in producer, and as they are transferred from one level to next, there is a continuous decrease in energy. That is, the lowest energy is being always found in the last trophic level, that is a tertiary or a quaternary. In this diagram we can see that the grass is being eaten by a grasshopper. So grass is basically a producer. It contains 1,000 calorie of energy. When this grass is eaten by a grasshopper, these grasshoppers are the primary consumer. They only get 100 calorie of energy, that is the 10% of 1000. When these grasshoppers are eaten up by this mouse, then they only get a 10 calorie of energy, that is a 10% of 100 calorie of energy. This is the second consumers. And when this mouse is been eaten by an eagle, this eagle get only 1 calorie of energy, and that is a 10% of 10 calorie of energy. So in every topic level there is always a 10% of reduction. There is a 90% of reduction and 10% of obtaining. So what is this? Is the first trophic level, trophic level, that is the producers are first trophic level. Then the primary consumers are second trophic level, level. Then we can go on the third secondary consumer, they are a third trophic level, third trophic level. And the eagles are the fourth trophic level. So basically, as we move from one trophic level to another, there is a continuous decrease of energy. Now we move on the biological magnification. What is biological magnification? First of all, we have to understand the basis. Harmful chemicals like insecticides and pesticides, which are used to protect crops from insects and pests, are absorbed by a plant and enter the food chain. This means that in the farmland, that is in the area where we grow our crops, what we use a fertilizers. We use fertilizers, especially a chemical fertilizers. What they do, they help in protecting the crops from different type of insects and pests which damage these crops, by which the production of the crop will be increased. What actually happening, they not only protecting these type of insecticides and herbicides is not only protecting the crop, these are also absorbed by the crops. Okay, the crop is absorbed because when we spray these insecticide and pesticide in the farmland, they mix with the soil, by which no insect, no pest will come to damage the crops. But the crops is always be planted in the farmland. So by the help of root, these insecticide enters into the farmland, into the crops. And finally, when these plants are being eaten up by any other organism like human being or a goat, human being or goat, or we can say a sheep or cow, when they eaten up by these different type of organism, what happen, these insecticide and pesticides are entered into the body of this organism like human being, goat, sheep and cow. Why? Because these chemicals are non-biodegradable. What is non-biodegradable? Those who cannot be divided or degraded into a smaller particles or cannot be dissolvable. So these chemicals are non-biodegradable. They accumulate at every level. They accumulate in every level means, suppose they are been absorbed by plant and they cannot be degraded, that is they will remain present in plant. When this plant is eaten by a the goat, suppose a plant is eaten by goat. Now what happened actually, these elements which are present in plant is now entered into the goat's body. Now this goat is being eaten by a human being. Most of the human being use a goat. Goat is eaten by a human being. As these elements are non-biodegradable, they cannot be dissolved or not been destroyed, so they enter from goat into the human being, and finally they also remain present in the human being. As the consumption increases, that more and more organism is being eaten up, so there is a large amount of storage of these type of elements in the body of human being, which finally gives a disease to the human being or damage or destroy or disturb the population of the human being. So what actually happening, the human being occupy the highest trophic level. Why human being acquire the highest trophic level? The reason is that because human beings are omnivorous. Human beings are omnivorous. Omnivorous are those which who eats plants and animal as their food material. Plants and animal as their food material. So what happens if the human being consuming such plants directly and that plant is treated with insecticide and pesticide? These harmful chemicals directly enters into the human being body. If human being consuming an animal like goat, sheep or chickens, and these goat sheep have eaten these crops, so human beings are indirectly taking these all these chemicals and present in insecticides and pesticides. Finally, what happened? The concentration of these harmful chemicals goes on increasing, and these increasing the in the body of the human being or any other organism give rise to a disease. And such type of increase of element that is present which are not been non-biodegradable, such type of increase of non-biodegradable elements is called a biological magnification. Okay. So what is biological magnification? Is basically biological magnification is that if pesticide and insecticides are being used and these pesticide and insecticides are containing such type of chemicals which are not are degradable, that is non-biodegradable, they cannot be dissolved, they can be absorbed by a plant and remain present. When this plant is being eaten by an goat or sheep, they can transfer from plant to the goat and sheep, and then these goats and sheep are eaten by human being, they transfer from goat to the human being and finally get stored, or if not then they are present in the goat. So these type of elements which get stored in the body of that organism is called a biological magnification or biomagnification. And this biomagnification give rise to several type of diseases which is give a harmful impact on the living organism present on this earth. Let's suppose we look at the level of what we can say, the best example what we can mercury. Suppose mercury is a waste product, it has been thrown in the liquid. Suppose from the household wastage or industrial wastage, suppose in industrial wastage, these industrial wastes contain a mercury. This mercury is being finally dissolved, is present in the water which is polluted, and this polluted water if not treated well is being drained into a river. Now this polluted water contain mercury and now finally drained into river. Here river have a fishes. What exactly happens? This mercury enters into the body of fish. When this fish is being eaten up by human being, this human being, now this whatever the mercury is present in this fish is transferred into a human being. Now human body contain a mercury. When the concentration of mercury increases in a human being, it give rise to a disease called Minamata disease. Minamata disease. So how a human being is suffering from Minamata disease? Due to a mercury. How the mercury is entered into the body? From the fish. How the fish get this mercury? From the wastage from the industries, as it is drawn from the into the river. So this type of mercury is not been dissolved in the water, because mercury is not dissolvable in water, that is already present. When it is enter into body, it is not absorbed by the dissolvable or not degradable in the body of the fish, that is, it is remain present over there. Then the fish when eaten in the by human being, then again it is cannot be absorbed or cannot be dissolved by a human body, then it remains present over there, and this remain, then the presence of this mercury give rise to a Minamata disease. So this accumulation, that is a transfer of these elements, non-biodegradable elements, and get stored in the organism, give rise to a biomagnification. Now this the most important, and we will discuss about the human activity effects in environment. How the human activity is affecting the environment. We know there are different type of ways by which the human beings are affecting. The most important is the air pollution. If we go on air pollution, air pollution is the biggest challenge by which were created by a human being. How? Through the smoke obtained from industries, from where we're getting a different type of smokes. One is from industries, we're getting these from industries. Another vehicles, like we are using cars, trucks, buses, trains, etc. Another, as a burning fuel, in the villages we are using coals and wood as a burning, and so other things. So these all are produces smokes, and these produce smokes contain pollutant materials which pollute air pollution. So what exactly the most important cause of the air pollution is? The depletion of ozone. First we have to know what is ozone is. Ozone layer, ozone molecules contain three atoms of oxygen, that is three oxygen combines together to give rise to ozone. At higher level in the atmosphere, the UV radiations split some oxygen molecule, that is O2, into free oxygen atom, which combines with oxygen molecules to form ozone. So how the ozone is formed? Due to the help of UV rays, these oxygen molecules somehow, not all, only some, remember one thing, only some molecules, not all. I'm writing over here, not all, only some, only some. Let's suppose if there in atmosphere there are 4 molecules of oxygen, then only 2 is been depleted and 2 remain in the same condition. So this oxygen is split into, let's suppose O2 is split into O and O. Okay, now this single O is been attached with oxygen. Now this single O combines with oxygen to form O3. This O3 is not oxygen, this O3 now become a ozone, and this ozone give rise to a layer, and this layer is called ozone layer. Okay, now what is the exact role of ozone layer? Let's suppose we discuss about the ozone layer, where it is formed. This is our earth. Look at this. This is our earth. The earth is surrounded with the atmosphere, and which contains several gases. This is called a troposphere. Above the troposphere there is a big layer. Look at this layer. This layer, this is the layer of ozone. This is the ozone layer whose formula is O3. What it does, and behind that there is a troposphere where the several gases are found. What exactly? When the sun rays comes to the earth, it passes from the ozone layer. Ozone absorbs UVB light, ultraviolet B light, whose intensity is 280 to 350 nanometer. Okay? Then what happened? UVB and UVC. UVC is completely, that is UVA, UVA, UVB and UVC. These three types of ultraviolet elements are being produced from the sun. Out of this, 100% of UVC is absorbed, 100% of UVC is absorbed, 98% of UVB is absorbed, and 2% reaches to the earth. 2% reaches to the earth. UVA 100%, 0% is absorbed, and 100% reaches to the earth. Okay. to the to So what exactly happening? This UVC is responsible for causing cancer, for causing cancer, okay, especially skin cancer. We have already heard about the skin cancers. So due to the ozone layer, UVC will not reach to the earth. That is why the skin cancer will not happen. But if the hole is occur, if suppose the ozone layer is get damaged, what happens? The UVC light reaches to the earth, and when it is start reaching to the earth, the any person who get in contact with UVC will suffer from skin cancer. So ozone layer helps in protecting to reach the UVC light to the earth. So what is exactly happening? There is a depletion in ozone layer. Depletion means that is a damage in the ozone layer. The layer of atmosphere protects the earth from the harmful UV radiation from the sun. UV radiation causes a skin cancer human being, especially UVC. UVC is responsible to cause a cancer. The ozone layer is being damaged by the use of chemical. What is actually happening? We are using different type of source, like a refrigerator we are using in our home. We are using fire extinguisher. We know that the fire extinguisher helps to uh, extinguish the fires when there is a fire will take. Okay, we also use vehicles. All these produces chlorofluorocarbon, that is called a CFC. CFC is being produced. This CFC when reaches to the atmosphere, sphere, it start melting the ozone. It start melting the ozone, by which the hole is by which the hole is formed in the ozone layer. Okay, so what is actually, they start destroying or damaging the ozone layer, by which there is a hole is occurring. Like suppose this is a layer, here it is a hole form, here is a hole form. So here is a layer, but this hole occurs when the sunlight comes, it passes directly from the hole without filtration. That is, there is no absorption of UVC, and this UVC reaches to the earth, which causes the skin cancer. And which gas is or element is responsible to dissolve the chlorofluorocarbon, that is CFCs. CFC dissolves these, and CFCs are mostly used in the refrigerator, that is refrigerator, AC. These are producing a CFCs, and by which there is a depletion. This damage of ozone is called a ozone depletion. Now look at this. This is our earth. Okay, above this is the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is present in the layer which is called a troposphere. Okay, above the troposphere there is a white color layer which is called a ozone layer. This is called a ozone layer. Above that there is a stratosphere. So from earth to above 10 kilometer there is a troposphere. From 10 to 50 kilometer there is a stratosphere, and in stratosphere there is a layer which is a ozone layer. This ozone layer helps to absorb a ultraviolet C light. Ultraviolet C. Why? Because it helps to form a skin cancer. So what happened? Like sun. The sun has been present somewhere over here. It is giving its light. This light was absorbed. It is absorbed. Some passes out. Those who are passed out with the UVA is reaches as only 2% UVB. Okay, while UVC has been absorbed over here. So this ozone layer protects our earth from the ultraviolet C light, and these ultraviolet C never reaches to that. But if suppose there is a hole is occurred, then the UVC also passes out and reaches to the earth. Okay, so this damaging of ozone layer is called ozone depletion. Look at this diagram. We found that here is the white, that is the ozone layer. This is the ozone layer. Look at this, this is the ozone layer. But here there is no ozone layer. There is no ozone layer. If the sunlight is coming, then it is directly enters from here and reaches to here. But those who are passing from here is been absorbed, then UVC will be absorbed over here, but it will not be absorbed over here, and if not absorbed, it reaches to the earth. Okay, so these richness to the earth give rise to a damage, give rise to a skin cancer. Earth increases the earth atmosphere. So finally, the damage in the ozone layer is actually caused a ozone depletion. I'm writing over here the damage in ozone layer is known as ozone depletion, and this is only happened CFC, that is chlorofluorocarbon is responsible for this damage. Okay, fine. So this is the most important thing to understand what is, and these damages is called a ozone hole. These are called ozone hole because it looks like a hole. Okay, so finally we are ending this session over here. I hope you can understand it very well, and please look over this video twice or thrice and try to understand, and after that try to solve the questions related with this lecture. Thank you very much.